Welcome back in episode 16 of the Fourth Down Football Show. Myself, Kyle, and Mello joining me today. And we got some NFL action to cover. We'll give a brief shout out. Jaden Daniels, congrats on winning the Heisman. That's our college football portion of the show. Congratulations.
Yes.
Moving on to the NFL. We want to talk about Bills Chiefs, of course, the viral ending of that game. Who knows? Mello might do his Patrick Mahomes impersonation.
I'm
We
here.
might see. Eagles Cowboys. We don't have to talk about it, but I have a feeling I'm going to get pressured into talking about that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Big D.
And then the Mello Kyle Bowl on Monday Night Football last night. One of them left happy. One of them did not. We already know who left happy.
I mean, Matt, you could make a case that both of us left unhappy.
Well, true. At this point, a win for Kyle is actually a loss. So
yeah, yes.
So you'll be laughing in April. We'll see. We'll see who's gonna be laughing.
Mello was telling Kyle to get out of the way. He didn't get out of the way.
Tommy DeVito didn't get out of the way.
He did not. Okay, starting off at the top, Bills Chiefs, very close game and a good game. Ended final 20-17. The Chiefs, of course, were looking to strike. This wasn't the end of the game, but they were looking to strike with a touchdown there late in the game. And awesome play. I mean, the completion to Travis Kelce. He jukes some guys out, forces some missed tackles, does the lateral back to Kadarius Toney. What a throw, honestly. Great awareness. Not sure why more people don't utilize the lateral but I guess it's hard to think about when you're running. Kadarius Toney takes it in for the touchdown. All for it to be called back because Kadarius Toney's foot was on the line of scrimmage. He was in the neutral zone. Patrick Mahomes was not very happy about that after the game, even though he got penalized for literally the right reason. He was in the neutral zone, in fact. It was a penalty, and everybody was all up in arms because the ref didn't tell him that he was in the neutral zone. Last time I checked, the ref does not have to tell you. The ref doesn't owe you anything. All they have to do is tell you when you're breaking the rules. But that's just my opinion on this. I am curious to see what you guys got on it.
Completely agree. It's like that's the right call. Like, I don't know what Mahomes is complaining about. Now, maybe he's complaining about other reasons that we're not aware of right now, but that's the right call. And you asked the question a second ago, how come more teams don't utilize the lateral more? Well, you saw why on Sunday, why teams are maybe hesitant, because you got one bonehead on the team that doesn't know where he is at the line of scrimmage. Did you guys know, too, and I saw this on SportsCenter with SVP the other night, that was the first time in Andy Reid's history that he had a offensive I forget, here I say the stat, I don't even know what it is. He got called for an offensive offsides, that's what it was. Something like that. That's the first time, and he's been coaching for like a quarter of a century now. I didn't know that. You think if you've been coaching for that long, you're gonna have one bonehead on the team, but what happened on? Yeah, and it happened on Sunday, but Chiefs are a little concerning right now. Even the games they've won, they haven't looked good. Should have lost to the Raiders a couple weeks ago. They lost to my Packers last weekend, but we know what happened there. We'll call it even. And then they lose to the Bills a couple days ago. So I'm a little concerned about this Chiefs team right now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just say what you guys just did. It was the right call. There was no doubt about it. Watching the replay, I mean, I don't know how Patrick Mahomes can really even argue that at all. I understand he's a gamer, he's a competitor. I get it. He's fired up. But at the same time, it's like, dude, just go look at the replay and you'll see exactly why the penalty got called. Um, I I'm not frustrated with him. I understand. Like I said, he's a gamer. I understand why he was upset. But the part that I didn't like when the game was over and they were going to midfield to shake hands, and he whispered something to Josh Allen, was like, "Dude, that was such a bullshit call." Whatever.
That's a
That's not
bullshit call.
wasn't that's not word for word what he said, but something along those lines. I think that's just not right. Listen, at the end of the day, the Bills won the game. Josh Allen played decently enough to win the damn game against a team who has won multiple Super Bowls in the last 5, 6 years. So don't be like that. Show respect to the man who won the game and let it go. That's the issue that I had the most out of it. Moving on to what Mello said, I am 100% in agreement with Mello here. I think the Chiefs might be in a little bit of hot water here. They don't look good at all. Are they missing Tyreek Hill? I don't know. It sure as hell looks it, just the way I see it. Um, that wide receiver room is terrible. It
Yeah.
it's actually, I don't want to say as bad as the Giants, but damn, it doesn't look good at all. Yeah, so I don't know, man. But I will say that I absolutely loved seeing Kadarius Toney get that penalty called on him. Oh man, it pulled a
Still
heartstring.
salty.
Listen, fighting back New York fans, that's a battle you ain't ever gonna win. Come on now. That goes for any sport. Come on. So yeah, no, but no, the Chiefs look like they need to get shit figured out real quick.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. This is the wrong time of the year too to be, you know, playing like this because you got the playoffs that are starting like in a month.
Yes.
So you got to get your act together. And the Chiefs and specifically Mahomes have been on the. They've gotten a lot of those calls in years past. So don't complain when calls go your way. How do you think Jalen Hurts felt after losing the Super Bowl last season? He could have easily said something to Mahomes at the when he was shaking hands with him after the game, but he didn't.
He's
And
a
he probably
professional.
he's a professional, and he probably would have got killed for it everywhere in the media. But no, Mahomes, you've gotten enough calls. Just you can say whatever you want after the game, but Monday morning you got to come in and let it go.
It's an issue when Travis Kelce is your only offensive weapon that defenses have to worry about. And Kadarius Toney has shown he's had flashes where it's like this guy, he has elite speed. He's very shifty, but the hands just aren't there. I mean, this guy is making drops left and right. Debatably some attitude issues there as well. We saw that in New York. Definitely Kyle can agree with me on that. So the Chiefs, they have a little bit of a history of taking on some guys like that. I mean, they had Josh Gordon not that long ago. They had Le'Veon Bell had a little stint there with the Chiefs. But if he could catch the ball, nobody would be talking about him like this. It's just he's had these big drops and big moments, and that's why people are saying Kadarius Toney is kind of on you and that whole wide receiver room. You know it's bad when the Chiefs are saying they miss Marquez Valdez-Scantling as he's with the Packers now, dropping deep bombs for the Packers. But yeah, I don't know. One more thing, Brittany Mahomes. Don't be posting MVP for the refs on your Instagram story. Just stay out of this, please. You're a little too involved. Go hang out with Taylor Swift during the game and just leave the on the field stuff for your husband.
I mean, she did. No, she took that video probably when she was right next to him.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I
Swift
think
curses on.
It is. It is.
Like they've lost 2 games in a row now when she shows up.
All right, Taylor. Ball's in your court. Don't show up. Moving on. I don't want to talk about this. You guys want to.
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, then we won't talk about it. Moving on. Packers. I'm kidding. It was a big game, probably the biggest of the weekend. Well, if that Bills Chiefs game wouldn't have ended the way it did, it definitely would have been the clearly biggest story of the weekend. The Eagles got their butts handed to them again, back-to-back weeks in a row now. They lost to the 49ers in embarrassing fashion. They lost to the Cowboys in a little bit less embarrassing fashion, 33-13. And not any offensive points in the whole second half. It's kind of an issue. I mean, you scored the one touchdown in the second half, and that was on a fumble return from stripping Dak. This offense is getting, people have said recently, and I picked up on it, the offense is getting a little stale. It's getting a little predictable. Need to switch things up. Ben Johnson's under heat as the Eagles offensive coordinator, and I really hope that we don't see him back in that same position next year. Hopefully we can either promote somebody from within or steal somebody else, poach somebody else. Of course, missing our guys that were poached, the Colts and the Cardinals head coaching job, but that's what happens when you have a good team and a good offense and defense. They're going to get stolen. But yes, bad performance by the Eagles all around. The defense got embarrassed again. I mean, at some points, a great defensive line can carry your defense and make up for some mistakes in the secondary by putting so much pressure on the quarterback that the secondary can be covered up a little bit. But it's gotten to the point where the defensive line is not able to carry this defense anymore. You brought in Shaq Leonard now on this defense. Great. He didn't see a huge amount of playing time in that game because it is his first week there. Understandable. But big play Slay got a little bit exposed. James Bradbury got a little bit exposed in that game. CeeDee Lamb's he's a great weapon. It pains me to say that because I thought he was going to end up being a mediocre guy for where the Cowboys drafted him after his first season or so. But he's a pretty elite wide receiver at this point and just very disappointed all around in this Eagles team. Stale on offense and couldn't convert drives into touchdowns. So that's all. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
I mentioned this to you Sunday night, I think either before the game ended or sometime when they were losing. The Eagles can easily finish 14-3, and it might not be enough to get the first round bye, and it might not even be enough to win your own division, which is kind of crazy. I think any team would take 14-3, and in any other situation, and be like, all right, you're gonna probably finish with the best record in the NFC, and you're probably gonna have 2 home games to get to a Super Bowl. And for the Eagles, that might not be the case because you've already lost to the 49ers, and they have the tiebreaker against you now. You're neck and neck with Dallas, and all it takes is for the Eagles to lose one more game and Dallas to win out, and they win their division. So then now, and you look at the standings right now, Eagles are in 5th in the NFC. And for as good as a season they have had, finishing, they could finish 14-3. They might have to go on the road after
beneath
all that.
The freaking Buccaneers or Falcons or Saints, whoever wins the crappy NFC South this year, we're going to have to travel to play them. That's ridiculous for a 14-3 team. Sorry, go ahead.
It is, but everybody else above you is just as good, if not better. But Eagles are another one of those teams that are kind of scaring me a little bit. Ironically, the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl last year are kind of scaring me a little bit. Because you play the Seahawks Monday night in Seattle. That's not an easy game. You're probably gonna win, but that's not an easy game.
Hopefully.
And then you still got 2 against the Giants, and after we'll get into it in a second. The Giants think they got a shot now, and then you got the Cardinals. So again, just like the Chiefs, this Eagles team is kind of scaring me a little bit. But the good thing is you still got 4 weeks to figure it out. You still got a month left. Same thing with the Chiefs, too. Both teams still have a month to figure this thing out. But you better hurry up and figure it out fast, because before you know it, it's going to be the second week of January, and you don't have time to screw around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Mello. I mean, this team is scaring me a little bit. They're still a damn good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything away from them. But this game showed the one takeaway I took from this game. AJ Brown being contained on any secondary is not good for the Eagles. He is such a weapon, and I understand that you have Devontae Smith on the other side. You still have Dallas Goedert. You still have other weapons. But AJ Brown is the difference maker here. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
And he was shut down by Dallas' defense. With even him himself, I think he got a little flustered. He didn't look his
he did.
Yeah, he didn't look his top tier self. And if a defense gets into the mind of AJ Brown, things might start unraveling a little bit. And I think that's exactly what happened against Dallas. They didn't really know where to go after that. And I feel like that's ultimately what led them to lose the game. And Melo touched on their schedule. They have a quote unquote easy schedule, right? Got to go into Seattle, take care of business, which I think they will. There's absolutely no reason why you guys shouldn't beat Arizona and the Giants twice. But listen, I'm not just saying this as a Giants fan. Those in-division games can get a little tricky sometimes. You never know what's going to happen. You really don't. I'm not saying the Giants are going to fucking win both games. I'm not saying that. But there is no telling what's going to happen. The Giants could very easily just, hey, come out of nowhere just because it's in division. We know, you know us, we know you. That's kind of how it is. You never know what's going to happen there. So, yes, Eagles should technically win out. That's how it should be. But you never know what's going to happen. Seattle's a tough place to play. New York, we just touched on. And Arizona, you're going to win Arizona. That's just how it is. But no. So Dallas is showing that this is not just the Dallas team that we have been making fun of for however many years in a row now. This Dallas team is legit. I have to say it. They are. And San Francisco is just a juggernaut. There's not much more I can say on them other than the fact that they are just that damn good. So yeah, I think the Eagles just need to take care of business. I am like pressing very lightly on the panic button for the Eagles. That's where I'm at. I am very lightly. I'm not pushing all the way down. I'm not making the damn buzzer go off, but I'm there. I am lightly pushing. So that's where I am for the Eagles. I still think they're a damn good team. Anything can happen when the playoffs come. But yes, I do agree with you, Matt. A 14-3 team, wherever they're going to finish, traveling to one of those NFC South teams. That's I don't know. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is that anything, after losing the Super Bowl last year, their fans had high expectations coming into this year.
Oh, yeah.
Eagles fans were like, all right, we lost the Super Bowl. We'll be back. We're definitely going to be back here again next year. If not, we're going to get pretty close. So it kind of sucks that the bar has been risen so high that anything short of getting to the Super Bowl again is going to be a huge disappointment. And it's going to be, I can't imagine what that city's going to do, or I can't imagine what that city's going to feel like if their Eagles don't at least get to another NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl.
I'll put a positive spin on this while we put a bow on it, period. You read about the Eagles' remaining schedule, Dallas's remaining schedule, the Bills coming off a big win, the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Commanders. So, of course, most people would say, yeah, we'll take the Eagles' schedule versus the Cowboys' schedule. But I will give some credit to Dallas. We're talking about this Eagles team. Well, they can rebound. They can win the division yet. Well, if you're Dallas, you're looking to hopefully win 2 of those remaining games. And you're going to say, well, we're sitting at a pretty good record too, and we're still going to have to go on the road. I mean, I'm going to give flowers to Dallas. They beat the Eagles. They crushed the Eagles. Then the 49ers crushed them even more. Now, the 49ers also smoked the Cowboys, so should, in theory, the 49ers, I can't even say it. It's 49ers, Cowboys, Eagles, just based off of how the outcomes have been so far. But Dallas, if they get screwed out of winning the division or don't win the division, they're going to be in a tough spot where they can have to go on the road again. And I mean, their best weapon is having played at home this year and stretching into last season too. They have like a super long home game winning streak now that just extended this past Sunday. So they've proven that they can win at home. Mello, you said you wanted to see the Eagles tested on the road. You said playoff game. Well, we saw it in a regular season game just there. And, yeah, they failed the test. So I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks. The loser of this division, as long as the 49ers continue to hold serve and win out the rest of their games, the loser of the NFC East is going to have to go to that crappy NFC South winner. That's not going to be – that's not ideal. Now you can look at it from the other side and say, hey, this is a tune-up game. This shouldn't be that hard. We'll beat them and get ready for next week. It was probably better that we didn't have the week off. But you can also look at it and, hey, anything can happen. Yep. It's the NFL.
That's right. Final game that we plan.
Dolphins, Titans.
Hey, good game. Will Levis. Nice little comeback there. Good for him. Final game. Packers, Giants. I have no involvement in this game. I was watching it. I was only watching it to see as much of Tommy DeVito's agent as possible because
yes, he deserves all the medical media he can get.
Never seen a cooler looking guy
Shops
in my life.
At Party City.
If I ever am in debt, I think that guy could probably help me get a loan. Now, I need to pay that back pretty quickly and on time if I want to keep all my limbs. Yes. But I think he could help me out. He knows a guy who could help me out with that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about his client, though, Tommy DeVito. Nice little game he had last night. He showcased his legs. He had a nice little run, 70 rushing yards last night, too. And he was sufficient. Better than Daniel Jones. Kyle?
Yes. So, as everybody knows by now, I am not the biggest Daniel Jones fan. So
the front office is.
Yes, that they are. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tommy DeVito is a franchise quarterback. He's not. But I'm going to tell you what he is. He is the franchise backup quarterback. I want him with the Giants for however long that he wants to be here. I would love this guy. He's a gamer, man. He really is. He goes out there, does his thing, and he's having fun with it. Giants football has not been fun in damn near a decade. I'm sorry. It hasn't. And
Eli Manning isn't fun?
Not the last years of his contract. I'll tell you that. Although, Eli, I love you. That was not a shot at you, I promise. Anyway, so Giants fans are going to take any kind of entertainment, any kind of fun that we can get. Number one, 3-game heater here. It's pretty cool. I've been having some fun. I really have. I've been watching these games. They are screwing themselves, however, in the process of this, as Mello had touched on earlier. As of right now, I believe we ranked 10th in the draft order, whatever it is. But anyway, we're having fun right now. He looked good. His legs were really good. His arm looked good too. That's some shit that we haven't seen from Daniel Jones since last season in the first couple weeks. Saquon, I thought you were going to be on my shit list there at the end, but we ended up Bobby Okereke. Huge shout out to you. Stopped the Packers from that 2-point conversion. Tommy DeVito did his thing, stormed the Giants down. Randy Bullock, of all people, kicking field goals. Hell yeah.
Should have been Graham Gano.
Yes, it should have been. Yes, 100%. But no, I think we're having fun right now. It's not going to last. I know this. So, just keep going, I guess. I mean, keep throwing up the Italian sign, whatever it is. I don't know, man. It's kind of a joke at the same time as I'm saying all this, but no. We're having some fun right now as Giants fans. So overall, not the greatest game ever. This game has showed that we really, really need to fix that wide receiver room. and use some O linemen. Other than that, good game, I guess.
On the flip side of things,
Yeah, let's bring it all the energy down and make everyone depressed again. Going to the Packers side of things, um, after coming off such a high and a good win against the Chiefs, you don't want to lay a dud like that. And you saw the Jordan Love that was rearing its ugly head in the month of September or October, I should say. That's a game you can't lose.
Agreed.
I think he had like 3 turnovers. I think the field goal kicker, I think we left like 6 points off of the board just on missed field goals. So I think we would have won the game if we just would have made all those kicks. But you don't want to lose that game. I did say that the Packers would more than likely lose one of these games. Now, I didn't think it would be the Giants, especially after coming off a win against the Chiefs the week before at home. But they're 6-7. They're still the 7th seed in the NFC. We're basically praying now that Minnesota loses another game and then we beat them because we got one more game against them, so that they'll finish 8-9 and we'll finish 10-7. But you can't lose another game now. You can't. You had a game to play with. They just used it right out of the gate yesterday. And now you can't lose the rest. You can't lose these last 4 games. Because if you lose one more, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Maybe it will. But for right now, you got to finish 10-7. And I think this team could do it.
Matt LaFleur loses his first game in December ever.
Everybody finds out about it, and then what does he do? Lays an egg the next week.
Funny how that works. Yeah. Jordan Love, I mean, he was on a nice little stretch where you were like, oh, maybe he is the franchise. Maybe he is the guy here. And then he takes a step backwards. Like Melo said, this is a game you shouldn't have lost. You can't lose. You can't be, if you're trying to be serious in making the playoffs here, which obviously they are, I think you're still in a playoff spot. If I'm not mistaken, they're still
7
in the wild card spot. Yes. So, but you're right on the edge there now. The Rams are nipping at your tail. I think they're next in line.
We have the tiebreaker against them.
Okay. So you can't be messing around though, just because you do have technically that extra bump with the tiebreaker. You can't be messing around any more of these games. You spent your free game right there on a loss to the Giants. Like Melo said, you had the game to play with, and you went around and you lost it. So, got to be consistent the rest of the way through the season. You know who they got the rest of the season, Melo? Schedule.
Buccaneers at home. Panthers Christmas Eve on the road. In Minnesota, New Year's Eve, and then home against the Bears.
Okay.
That Minnesota game is kind of, I feel like that's where the make or break's going to be. Personally.
Well,
I'm with you.
A lot of quarterback controversy right now for
that is true.
Vikings right now. Josh Dobbs, I mean, but this is not on the schedule to talk about, but just a brief little cover the topic. Man, you had a great story going for you, and now you kind of suck to close out the season. You get benched, and Niners old friend Nick Mullins. Remember when he had a nice little stretch for the Niners like 3 years ago? Yeah, now he's back to he's going to be starting for the Vikings this week, according to their head coach, Kevin O'Connell. So interesting to see where that goes. Lions fumbling around with the division, though, too. So it could end up interesting.
And that's why I think losing the game yesterday made it worse. Because, listen, I didn't think, there was a world up until like 8:30 my time yesterday where I was like, I'm going to go crazy. Packers are going to win the NFC North. They're going to come back and win this. We just need some help from Detroit. And we got it from Chicago, of all teams, Sunday. And then the Packers go out and lay an egg, too. So that's out the window. But, yeah, all of a sudden, Chicago is now playing a little bit better. So I understand these last 4 games are not gimme games, but there's no excuse of why you can't go 4-0.
Agreed.
Yeah. Run the table, Packers. I think that's all we got for episode 16 here. So
That was
appreciate
a
you
depressing
guys.
way to end.
Well,
Talking about the Packers that lost.
Well, here,
Only
just
one
make
of us
it a
is-
little bit more positive.
I was gonna say only one of us is really happy about our
That's
outcome
true.
from the weekend. So
Kind of.
good.
You shouldn't
for-
be.
Well, yes, he's only not completely happy either, though, because he wants to lose.
I'm in a weird boat right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we appreciate you watching, listening, tuning in. If you are listening on Spotify, leave us a review. Appreciate that, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the like button. Leave us a little comment. So yeah, thank you guys, and we will see you again next week. Later.
Later.